And we just try to overcomplicate education. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it fun. Let's keep it alive, and let's keep learning moving forward. You get the greatest happiness from making someone else happy than trying to make yourself happy.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Great Principles, an educational and interactive talk show that brings together best school leaders from the nation and beyond. I'm your host Seema Chhoriya, and I bring to you another renowned educationist from overseas. The natural consequences of diligence and persistence is competence and success. My eminent guest of today is a living example of these words, who believes a person's aptitude and attitude makes them successful. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Andrew James Smyllie, Principal Al Nahda School for Boys, Abu Dhabi, UAE. Welcome to Great Principles, sir. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, and it's a great pleasure to be here.
So, sir, let us start from where it all started. I know that you were once training your own mates about how to play golf, and that is when you realized that you have the teacher within you. And that is where you started understanding that you can coach effectively. So do you believe teaching can be simplified for the learner's benefit?
Yeah, I firmly believe it needs to be simple. I'm a simple guy, and I like things to be nice and straightforward. And I think if it's simple, we understand it easily. Yeah, you're right. I took up golf. My dad taught me how to play, and he's a bank manager. So clearly I would never really picked up the game as well as my friends, but when I taught them how to play, they picked it up, and the tips that I gave them, they said were very helpful. I couldn't actually do them myself. So I realized then that I was perhaps a little bit more of a teacher rather than the great player. And that inspired me to go on a bit. And I really enjoyed a lot of outdoor pursuits. I lived in the UK. I lived in the Lake District. It's a beautiful part, many lakes, many mountains, and I helped out at the Outward Bound Centre. So taught a lot of people how to rock climb, how to windsurf, kayak, and all sorts of things. All of those things that I can do, but not very well. And they all went on. In fact, a friend of mine went on to the World Speed Climbing Championships, and he should have won it, but he fell off right at the very end. So all of those things, inspired me to become a teacher. And I think the thing that really resonated with me was it was fun, and it was there was the simple things in it, but it made it fun and it made it exciting. And when that happens, learning happens. And I think that's the same in the classroom now. We overcomplicate things. We talk about digraphs for little 5-year-olds, which they don't need to know. They just need to know how to start to pick up sounds and put them together into words and things like that when they're reading. And we just try to overcomplicate education. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it fun. Let's keep it alive, and let's keep learning moving forward. And that goes from when they're very little all the way up to 18 years old. I was telling my staff the other day, I go into the younger classes and see lots of fun going on. I see lots of serious faces when I go into my 18-year-old classes, and I want to see them enjoying it as well. They're going to go off to university, which I remember as being some of the best times of my life. And I want them to go out and enjoy. That's the thing that will make them succeed as well. So yeah, simple and fun. That's the message.
Absolutely, sir. Totally agree with you. When you keep it simple, that is when learning becomes fun and children enjoy it. So, there is one thought in my mind when I hear you, that, why children fear education now? They don't take it as learning and they don't take it as fun because we have labeled examinations there. So what can be done here? How can we encourage our children not to be pressurized by examination, rather take it as a competitive spirit kind of a thing?
Yeah, I'm not a great advocate of examinations. But then what else are we going to measure by? And we have to have that length of knowledge. What I really think is the way forward. And this was, there's a university in Jordan that I was chatting with, and they bring people together that have obviously got skills and have done well at school, but they don't teach them engineering or coding. They teach them the soft skills. They teach them how to collaborate. They teach them how to work together, how to work on their own, how to problem solve. They give them all of those kind of activities to do. And by what I saw on their little presentation, they're quite fun activities, and they develop trust between each other. And so that sort of knowledge that they have and can come out. And they said that their students go on to start jobs at a scale 20% above most other people. And I think that's something that we need to bring into schools as well. You know, I think we take away from teachers their professional judgments far too often. You know, we think that an examination is great. Well, I know loads of students that have got a great memory and can memorize how to write an answer, no problem whatsoever. But putting that into place or putting that into action, they're not so great at. So I want to see more of that application being taught and being recognized within qualifications rather than just the knowledge. So yeah, examinations, I think, actually hinder learning rather than actually make it the thing that we want. We lecture to it too much.
Absolutely, sir. And you know, we all educators need to introspect here that how can we make this hindrance, you know, not a hindrance, and let the child cross this hurdle easily and understand, because ultimately education is applying the learning that has happened. And when the child is not able to apply it, what's the point in it? So may we find some solution to it, and technology can definitely do it. This is what I believe.
I think so, yeah. And I think that there's an awful lot of project-based learning that we can do and show that we've applied what we know and what we can do. And, you know, I think some people like Lord Sugar in the UK and Richard Branson, who've gone on to be fantastically rich people, but didn't enjoy school. But they are the ones that went on to apply what they could do and what they could learn and go on and be successful. And we lose so many of those people who end up in jobs that perhaps that are not what their actual ability, but maybe their memory show. And I want to get away from that. But that's a difficult thing, because we still have to measure. We've been doing this for thousands of years since universities began. They want a qualification to get into the university. So there's a lot of work to be done around that. But I think that, as you say, with technology these days, we could get there.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you know, that project-based learning could be one part where, you know, this can be changed, and where children can be evaluated on the basis of all the skills that they have of applying the knowledge they've learned. So this could be the future that we all are looking forward to for our children. Going ahead in our conversation, so school leaders fosters relationship with students, staffs, parents that last for a lifetime. So talk to us about your contribution as a school leader, connecting all these stakeholders together.
I think it's something that is perhaps something that I enjoy the most. It's fostering relationships. It's getting people to work together for the common good. Throughout my career, I've always played a lot of sports, and I said right at the beginning I wasn't that great at golf, but I went on and played football and hockey and basketball, and often, although not the best player on the team, I was often chosen as the captain, and so the leader, really, so to speak, because I feel that you bring them together for one goal. And I think that's where things work. When you can share a common vision, you can share a common goal, you become successful. And that works really well with the students. It works really well with your staff. And in the UK, we had it as a community as well. You know, as a head teacher, I led the consortium of about 20 odd schools, and we used to come together for the common good for everybody in our area, which really worked well together. We split up into little pockets and did some observations of each of the schools, because we developed that level of trust between people, and that helped them to move them forward. help them to see things that you see with an outside eye you don't see when you're in. So all of that started to work to really move together in the right direction, as both a whole consortium and as individual schools on their own. And that's where it comes. You know, we started to spread out before I left Birmingham in the UK to come out here. We started to do that worldwide, or at least European wide. We had schools from Belgium, Spain, France, and Slovenia that came to us, and we went to them, and we shared learning and moved things forward. And I remember one of my teachers who'd been to Belgium coming back and with all enthusiastic because she had a different style to try within her classroom, which she loved and worked really well. And when we talk about that simplified fun element, that's what it brought to her lessons and really changed the way that she worked. She's now a principal of a school on her own now. So obviously those kind of things inspire people collectively and individually as well.
Absolutely, sir. And you have been a catalyst, you know, in turning around the not so wonderfully performing schools into one of the good performing schools in your journey. So to all my dear viewers, sir is one who connects with students very easily with this simplified and fun approach. And he's a well-known person among the student community as well. Great, sir. So on this note, we move to our next question. It says that we always put a price to our achievements. These are mostly in the form of awards, rewards, and physical tokens of appreciation. How should we determine a school leader's true merit?
Yeah, see, I mean, we go back to examinations there, and I don't think that we need to be to have a doctorate. We don't need to have a master's degree. We need to have those skills, you know, and I think some people spend a lot of time studying and then using them and applying them. But I like to apply them. I like to think about them. I like to talk to my colleagues, see that that's working, and apply it into my school. And I think that the true good leader is the one that has a community within their school that works as one, that moves learning forward for their students, and it also incorporates all of that sort of project-based learning, all of that kind of fun activities, all of that kind of thing, for not just the students, but the parents, the teachers, the board of governors, and anybody outside. So it becomes one community. As long as then your standards aren't suffering or should be on the increase because learning is improving, then that's where people are a merit. And that's when I think that you move out of just your own classroom and you start supporting others and you start working with other people and doing other things. That's when we see that they're true leaders, not just because they got a piece of paper and a doctorate. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's not my style.
Completely agree with it, sir. This is what makes a true school leader, because being a school leader is a very crucial responsibility. You are people's person and shaping so many lives. There are so many children, those who are dependent. So ultimately, the leader's thoughts reflect in the entire team. So that is why the position of a school leader is of utmost importance. Going ahead in our conversation, so there are many competent school leaders who have not got their halo yet. They always stand up for the rights and fight against the wrong. They strive to make education sector and inspire other educators too. So who is that educationist that you look upon for your advice, support, and inspiration?
There are many people that I look for inspiration in different ways. When I was in the UK, for example, I was the head of a Catholic school. So I was within the Catholic system for a long time. And there were some really inspirational people, some of them as priests. Father Jonathan, for example, was a wonderful orator. You know, you go to mass with him, or even you just go and sit with him for dinner and you would come away inspired, that made you feel good about yourself. There were some great head teachers within Birmingham, but then there were the ones that I think that were my closest colleagues in and around, where if I had a problem, I could pick up the phone and they would be there straight away. They wouldn't say, oh, I've got this to do, or I've got that to do, or I can't deal with it now. They would be there for you straight away. And those were the people that I knew bought into everything that we wanted to do collectively. And they were the ones that would inspire me, especially on those days, because it's a lonely job at the top sometimes, and you are left to do things on your own. And some days you feel a bit down because not everything works, not everything is rosy all the time, and you do feel it. And then they come and pick you up, and they realize, they see the signs when they've rung you, or they've talked to you, or they've been at a meeting with you, and they come and pick you up. Those are the people that I know. And I could name names, but I'd leave some people out, and I never like to leave people out. But those ones that were closest, they know. And I've got that here in the UAE as well. Pick up the phone to a couple of people, not just in Abu Dhabi, but in Dubai and LA. And I know that I get the right answers from them, and they're not afraid to tell me, no, Andy, you're pretty much wrong on that matter. And that's what you need as well,
It's so wonderful to have someone who is always available with their honest opinion to help you and guide you. And that is what keeps you going. You know that there is someone to be there with me and just a phone call away. So great, sir. You're fortunate enough to have such people around you, and may you always be like this. So on this wonderful note, we reached a very interesting segment of the show, which is called Rapid Fire Round. Cool. You have to answer in one word or a statement.
Okay.
And here goes the first question. Do you think there should be an equal weightage on academics as well as sports in the schools?
Yes.
I knew that would come, yes, because Sora is himself a sportsman.
Indeed, sports is a big thing, and I always use it as my inspirational talks, some sporting events or something. So yeah.
How do you spend your recreational time?
I used to spend it doing sports, but now my knee's not so good. I've now taken up doing some amateur dramatics, so I do a little bit of acting.
All right, wonderful. So we have an actor, a sports person, an educator, and so many traits still yet left to unfold for us. Tell us about a funny or weird incident in your life.
Well, I've never had any weird incidents in my life, honestly. A funny one really was when I was head teacher, and we just had across from my school a new supermarket built, and I went into the supermarket, and one of my families was there, and they had a young one, and I heard the little one pull on the mum's skirt and say, Mum, that's Mr. Happy," because my name is Smyllie. So
okay. All right. But that's good when a young child says that, oh, that's Mr. Happy.
Yeah, that's right. It made me happy. I smiled.
Absolutely. All right, going ahead. Any newly acquired hobby?
Yeah, acting. That's my newly acquired one. I hadn't done it before. Oh, sorry, it's just gone dark. There we go. I hadn't done it before until like a year or so ago, or a couple of years ago, when I could no longer carry on doing sport. So.
All right. If not an educator, you could have been a?
I'd like to say a sportsman, but I could have been. I think my mum always wanted me to be someone that worked with people, and wanted me to be a parole officer for people that were coming out of prison, and so I would be support to them. And it would certainly be something to do with people.
All right. Last question in this segment is, your favorite sporting event is?
Oh, one sporting event. Ooh. At the moment, probably the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Formula One.
All right, wonderful. It was great to know you in this segment. This makes me to reach to the last question of the show, which is called Viewer's Choice Question. My viewers send me a lot of questions, and this one I have picked for you. They say that we are going through a social and emotional crisis globally. In schools, the emphasis is more than academics. Children should be taught about caring for the global community. Putting people first is the call of the hour. Should we teach the children about the most essential aspect of humanity and kindness in schools?
For sure. that's something that I've always believed in. I think the academics is important. As we said, I'm not into exams, but I am into people, and I am into the way that we live, work, and look after one another. And I think that's so important, because we can all be very independent, and we could all make riches and have everything, but it doesn't bring happiness. And I like to see people that are happy, and that's what I always want. People that are happy, working in ways that they want to do, looking after one another. And my message has always been to two messages I've always had, and I say it with my school, where, you know, it's a very affluent country, and I say, we're all the same. I don't care whether you come into school driving a golden Lamborghini, or you walk to school with bare feet because you can't afford a pair of shoes. As soon as you walk through the door, we're all the same. And you get the greatest happiness from making someone else happy than trying to make yourself happy.
So what kind of activities would you recommend our school leaders to be practiced in school so that our children can observe and practice humanity?
I think it's about getting out into the community, raising awareness of environmental aspects, or, you know, or even just making things that people will like, having a cake sale for one example, things that will bring people happiness. And that's what I think we need to be looking at, and taking account of our environment and what we're doing to damage it, and how we can put that right, and just being generally nice people, really.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. How wonderful it would be if all our children are grown up with the thought that whatever we have the planet with us today, we have a responsibility to make a better one for the future. So
exactly,
wonderful
exactly.
thought. Yes. So we all should teach our children about the environment, safety, protection, and ensuring that the entire environment is safe and healthy for each one of us. So wonderful thoughts, sir. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. You are a great educator, and there is so much to learn. I'm sure these 30 minutes wouldn't be enough. There is so much to know more for you, but we all are time bound. We are looking forward to connect with you again and get more knowledge from you. Thank you so much. I feel privileged, and my team feel blessed to have you on our show.
Oh, and thank you for giving me the time, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been great to get to know you, Seema.